Alright, so I'm gonna go kind of on an unscripted rant. I mean, I have like an idea, an outline written out, but I'm still gonna go kind of like an off-the-cuff rant because I haven't done one of these in quite some time. So, I'm gonna introduce the topic, and then I'm gonna go get into the rant, and then I'm gonna do in thoughts. But so, okay. The the topic at hand is obviously Powerpuff Girls. You've seen it on the screen here for about 30 seconds now. Um, Here's the thing. I've noticed that a lot of people are giving this show way more hate than it actually deserves. People are sitting there and, looking at what the internet has to offer, kind of going off of that, giving, like, or they see Miss Bellum is taken out of the show, they see that, like, the girls twerk in an episode and stuff like that, and they just go absolutely fucking ape shit over this, saying that it's the next spawn of Adolf Hitler, Satan, Stalin, the 8th, or something like that. It's just, people are, like, making their opinions based off of what the internet has already thought of the Powerpuff Girls reboot. And this is going to kind of go back with a lot of reboots. Because we can look at Teen Titans Go, we can look at, what is it, look at the Thundercats, we can look at Alvin and the Chipmunks, we can look at really any reboot to any show ever. And a lot of what I'm going to say in this particular rant will be kinda on that, like, can be basically put to anything. So, what are some of the bigger complaints that people have with the show? Well, I think the biggest one that I've noticed people bringing up is the memes that this show uses for the sake of comedy. People tend to just look at a few examples, specifically examples from 2 episodes, where Bubbles says, no me gusta. I don't exactly remember which episode that is. I think that's episode 3 or 4. And then they use 2 examples from Allegro most of the time, and which is the Bubbles saying yas and the infamous twerking of Allegro. Yeah, well, first let me touch on Allegro here. Allegro is a villain that you want off the screen as fast as he comes onto the screen. He's very much a villain that's he's meant to be cringy. The idea behind Allegro, and I've watched this episode, unlike most people, or unlike I think most people who get this opinion off of the show. The purpose behind Allegro is a party animal. You look at what is seen as party-reliant things. You look at like the raver chicks and the scene girls and stuff like this. What are you gonna get out of that? You're gonna get like the twerking. You're gonna get the yas and stuff like that. You're gonna get all this kind of stuff from these people who prefer to party, prefer to like always be happy, and just people who don't want to do anything productive. You just want to like sit down and rave about. That is the purpose behind Allegro. So the idea behind the twerking, while yes, these girls are 5 and the twerking is kind of awful, I do get that. But here's the thing, it makes sense within the context of Allegro. Same with the yas. Same with anything that comes out of that episode that people use as a cherry-picked example. And the No Me Gusta, again, I don't exactly remember the context behind it or anything like that, but I mean, really and truly, it was like a short little second. They didn't even really dwell on it as much as, like, say, again, the twerking, which there was actually a reason for. Speaking of the cherry picking that I understand people doing, people prefer to pick out 2 particular episodes of the show. While yes, they do bring out the episode 3 or 4 No Me Gusta clip a lot. The thing is when they're talking about how quote unquote progressive or something like the show is. You know, anytime that they want to, like, sit there and bash the show, they use the Donnie the Unicorn episode, which I reviewed, like, last week, and the Allegro episode, which, again, I've already stated in this rant that it's on purpose, like, it is purposely cringe. So, they tend to use those two particular ones to, like, sit there and go, oh, this is the kind of stuff that they want to focus on. This is the kind of stuff that they're going to do. This is the kind of, like, these are the two big episodes. These are the two examples that are the perfect examples of, like, what the show's all about. They don't tend to realize that there is 12 episodes to the show right now. 12 fucking episodes to the show as of recording this rant. I honestly think it is, like, you guys really do need to sit down and pretty much watch, well, first, if you're gonna cherry pick the first 5 episodes, with only the episodes 4 and 5, and I think episode 1 as well, and I'll get into that here in a little bit, but, those are the two big ones that they tend to cherry pick, and if you're going to cherry pick those two, like, then what is the purpose of even having that kind of opinion if you're just gonna sit there and cherry pick? It's really fucking stupid. Sorry, I'm kind of messing with something in the background. So, on that note of things that people cherry pick, people also dislike the fact that Miss Bellum was taken out of the show. Now, here's the thing about Miss Bellum. She was a supporting character to a side character. She really had no purpose within the show. Not even the original Powerpuff Girls, really. And people don't seem to remember this about the Powerpuff Girls. She didn't have much of a role. Sure, she was there sometimes, and then there was the Sedusa episode where she actually did something. But the majority of the time, she was just there to be in contrast with the mayor's the mayor's idiocy. You know, that's really it. You know, she was just there for comic relief. She was there to be the straight man of the mayor's stupid antics. Taking in mind, the mayor is a character who once asked the Powerpuff Girls to help him open a fucking pickle jar. Miss Bellum, of course, being the straight man in the scenario there, it just sits there going, like, I'm surrounded by idiots kind of thing. That's kind of what Miss Bellum was there for. And sure, that was nice, and, you know, if people were to debate that, I would be totally fucking fine with it, but in the case of what people say about Miss Bellum, it's just like, oh, we're missing Miss Bellum because, like, this one thing from the LA Times said that they wanted to be, you know, productive, and, you know, they wanted to take out Miss Bellum because she was super sexualized or something like that. No, that is not the fucking case. Also, one could argue that maybe that was, like, maybe the actress who plays fucking Miss Bellum, because, you know, she hadn't had any fucking work prior to the Powerpuff Girls 2016 reboot. You know, ever thought of the fact that this person who didn't do very much voice acting after the Powerpuff Girls had kind of canceled, kind of just doesn't want to do it anymore? I mean, that is kind of a theory that I have about this show, and nobody seems to entertain that idea. It's just like, oh, the LA Times, again, let me kind of stress that out here. LA Times sits there and says that, you know, Miss Bellum was not a progressive character. You know, this was not a quote from the people themselves. They just said that Miss Bellum wasn't there for the moral that they wanted to teach. And this is something that I'll go back onto later, but their morals are incredibly preachy. Sure, again, that's something else that I could totally see if anyone fucking brought that up, but nobody fucking brings this up. You know, they only bring up the fact that Miss Bellum is gone, you know, Allegro is a thing, and ugh, it's so bad, just. And then finally there are those people who fucking sit there and go frame by frame each episode and notice little animation errors that a normal watcher who's just gonna sit down and watch it isn't gonna fucking see. And it's not like no other show has had animation errors. Hell, even on this channel alone, I've been able to point out one animation error at least. And then the one thing that really kind of pisses me off about this is because some of the people who sit there and point out all the little animation errors here and there, which, by the way, this is in Flash. The fact that it's in Flash sits there and that's just the nature of the fucking program. But you know, most of the people who sit there and do these frame by frame animation errors, like My Little Pony, and I cannot tell you the animation errors that My Little Pony fucking has because of the same fucking issue that the Powerpuff Girls has. They're both in Flash. And if anyone wants me to point out those little animation errors, someone had pointed out to me that there was a Cyclops pony that was pretty infamous, and then there's the character Derpy, which was, yeah, I don't know about Derpy, a character who was entirely created off of an animation error. Yeah, like, it's just... And the people who don't like My Little Pony that like this show, they probably like other shows that also had animation errors at one point or another. It's like every show has them. Like, no show is going to be absolutely 100,000% perfect with absolutely no flaws in it whatsoever. I don't know why you guys sit there and poke at the Powerpuff Girls reboot. Is it because it's a reboot? That's probably it, honestly. It's just... like, when it comes to these kind of reboots, even Teen Titans Go, even though I went on this huge tangent about Teen Titans Go, I will even say that when it comes to reboots, people tend to overreact so much. They try to say that it's like the second coming of Christ or something. Not Christ. Second coming of, Adolf Satan Stalin the Fifth, or Seventh, or whatever I said earlier. They try to they try to write it off like it's the worst thing to ever happen to society, and that just simply is not the case. These things are not the worst thing to ever come out. They're not even awful shows half the time. Teen Titans Go, sure, I don't like it. I do know a lot of people who do like it though. And, like, I'm not gonna sit there and spend my days sitting there and, watching more Teen Titans Go to fucking hate it. It's like, okay, it's basically, okay, you don't like the reboot, fine. Don't cherry pick, though. If you've actually watched the show and you don't like it, whatever. Don't overreact and say that it fucking raped your childhood or anything like that. That's pretty much where you draw the line. Anyway, I'm sorry that this was a bit scattered, a bit not good, but again, I wanted to get this out there. I don't actually have a review at the ready yet. I'm still working on a review of Bunny Raven, and I'm telling you that this is going to be quite the interesting review because I don't exactly know where I'm going with any of this. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Take care.